teaching you the easiest method for icing a cake. I have been into baking for as long as I can remember, between making Christmas cookies with my mom to taking culinary arts class to learn how to properly bake. I will be using an 8-inch round red velvet cake with buttercream frosting. I find it to be the easiest starting point. To start, you want to make sure your cakes are completely cool before frosting them. The most effective method for making sure your cakes are cool is let them cool to the touch and then put them in the fridge. Do not cover them because moisture will condense on the top and drip back onto the cake. To even your cakes, I'm going to be using a bread knife, but you can use a cake leveler or a cake knife to do so. So I'm just going to cut so the top layer of the bottom cake is smooth. Okay, after you do that, you want to make sure your cake, the bottom part, is on a spin table. This will be important later. Next, you want to use a frosting bag. I'm using a frosting bag with a Wilton 5 tip for the most control. And you want to frost an even layer on the bottom of the cake. You don't have to make this perfect, but you would like it as smooth as possible. You can use an offset spatula to make this as smooth as you want it, or you can use a butter knife. I prefer the spatula because you're using the spin table. Next, you want to take your top cake and place it as evenly onto the bottom cake as possible. You can check around and make sure it's lined up. Also check if the frosting is as smooth as you want it to be. Next, you're going to add a thick layer of frosting to the top of this cake. Taking an offset spatula again, you're going to want to spin the table and smooth out the frosting. It's okay to go back and forth with this method, but take your time so it smooths out evenly. Taking your offset spatula again, take any excess frosting off the top and run it down the edges, like so. It's easier to do this with a smaller offset spatula, but you could do it with any size you want. Okay, pause please. Using the offset spatula, you could take more frosting using your piping bag and hold it at an angle like this and spin the table to even out the frosting that's already on there. I'm going to frosting and put it on the offset spatula. Put it up to my cake and spin the table slowly. Using a separate frosting bag with a Wilton 1M tip, I'm using it to make a border around the bottom of the cake. Using even and steady pressure and then pulling straight up allows for these little frosted tips. You can also do this around the top of the cake, but if you're doing the border, make sure it's on the place that you are going to be serving it from because you can't move it. Place your cake in the fridge once you're done for 10 to 15 minutes to allow the frosting to cool and harden to the cake. Learning the basics of an important skill when starting any hobby is important. I hope this helps you with your future frosting endeavors, whether it's from family members' birthday cakes to or a personal passion project. I hope you follow these steps and in the future. Thank you.